Well, as the weekend comes to a close, but it does not mean we have to end things here. So today we're going to, of course, reviewing three events. The first one, as you know, we continue with Stardom in the Unit League. This one features, of course, who will be advancing into the finals. We do have in the red block EXV versus God's Eye. In the blue block, Cosmic Angels versus Hate. So these two matches will determine who will make it to the finals. And then we move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling with, of course, Blue Justice. That's right. Yuji Nagata's, I'm believing this is his self-produced show, featuring matches that, of course, are like prelims before upcoming matches involving either title matches or whatnot. And then we finally do TNA Genesis. This one is a very interesting match. Almost all championships are on the line. But the real question we ask ourselves, we will see new champions or we will still have the same ones? That is a good question we will determine throughout the entirety of this event. And then we'll do a very, very short news updates involving, of course, upcoming events from the promotions, who's booked, what matches are set, including one development that's very interesting due to the coincidentally involving TNA. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like what you see, please subscribe to us, so click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions that need to be said, I believe it's time to full speed ahead. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this one is from Stardom in Night 2 in Osaka for Unit League. Okay, Stardom. Night 2 in Osaka for Unit League, as you probably can guess. Now, to quick recap of what this league is about. Every member, every unit are involved, such as all six of them: Hate, Cosmic Angels, Stars, God's Eye, EXV, and Neo Genesis. All factions will be involved in 3-round matches. They'll be rotating on the ones who are minimal, such like Neo Genesis, EXV. They have like 5 members. I do know that Hate and God's Eye have like maybe around 9 or so, but some of them are out due to injuries and stuff like that. And then units like, of course, Stars and Cosmic Angels have 6. It's the same thing like what we do with the round robin tournaments. 2 points if you win a match, 0 points if you lose, and of course the time limit draw with 1 point each. So we still have that. But in this particular day, of course, we will determine who will be in fact involving in the finals. So we'll get to that in a bit. So let's start with the non-unit matches we're going to be doing. Our first match we have rookie Matoi Hamabe. She takes on Mei Sita and of course the icon of Stardom, Mayu Iwatani. Now, of course, when it comes to three ways, anything is a possibility on how things was going to go. Now, of course, it's no secret you would think that Matoy would be the one to take the fall because A, she has the least experience, and B, well, she always loses to anybody. But we do know that certain aspects you would say, okay, Mei Seta and Mayu Utani, who have the much better experience, most likely be the ones to win. Well, apparently, this one was a very interesting ending because Mayu was able to pin both Mei and Matoy at the same time. So she picked up the win. Now, our next match, we have star members Momokogo, Saya and Koguma. They take on Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, Zuzu Suzuki, Azumi, and Starlight Kid. Now, nothing too significant of this match whatsoever. Now, of course, you would think in some capacity that if they pin Saya most likely they could get a chance for the Stardom, the Goddesses Tag Team titles, which of course will be obvious. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, that would be. But however, it was Suzuki with the Grand Maestro Tequila. Now it's like a tequila shot, but instead of just flipping, you just rolling down with it, and that's how Zuzu picked up the win. I don't know what she's saying, but however, I did hear that Neo Genesis are the ones at the top of the point system in the Unileague in their block. So that sets it up right there. But we'll see where that leads. Now let's jump into the New Year Unit League red block. We have EXV versus God's Eye. Now it's no secret, of course, when it comes to these two units that Micah and Sudi, who are in fact opposites of team each other. They know each other well. They were the founding three members, along with Julia as members of DDM, now with their own factions. Now, representing in the first round for EXV, we have Rian, Mina Shirakawa, and Micah. Representing God's Eye, we have Kyoka Kotatsu, Lady C, and Sudi. So basically, you probably would think by obviously that it would be Rian to take the fall. I mean, that's what I would thought so too. But Micah was able to be the one to pick up the win onto Kotsutsa, giving them the first 2 points on this one. Now, the second round, the rotation went on to Hanako, Waka Tsukiyama, and Mina again. Mina once again remained in the second round. They faced God's Eye members Rane Yagami, Tomaka Inaba, and Saki Kashima. So basically, you would think in some capacity how this was going to go. I wasn't too sure where it is because we know that Hanako has grown better and better from the months we have been seeing her, but she ended up on the wrong side of the Kishi Kase by Saki Kashima, giving them their next 2 points, tying them in this entire thing. Now, our third round, this one features, of course, EXV, Rina, and Hanako, and Micah. Well, Hanako remained after the second round. Representing in this round, we have Lady C, Saki Kashima, and Sudi. So basically, many of you would think this is going to be interesting. However, the final part of this match features Lady C and Hanako. Remember, these two, before Hanako joined EXV, they were once tag partners, but now they're the opposite ends. But as always, Hanako applied that new submission move that she learned from Shinsuke Nakamura that allowed her to pick up their next 2 points, totaling with 4. That means they win the match, but on the added bonus, they are now in the finals. So this match has already been set. Now for the blue block in the New Year's Unit League, we have Cosmic Angels versus Hate. Now, it's no secret that these two factions hate each other completely because, of course, their issues towards Cosmic Angels and Cosmic Angels towards their vile ways. So, In the first round, representing Cosmic Angels, we have Ayasakura Sayuri Anu and Natsupoi. They take on from Hate, Azusa Inaba, Raka, and Rina. So basically, you probably can guess how this was going to go in every capacity. Now, don't forget, when it comes to Hate, you know that they will determine to cheat their way through by using weapons by any means necessary to win. But however, it was Rina who picked up the win by applying the Pink Devil, which is the Gory Bomb, onto Sayuri Anu, allowing to pick up the win. Now, I'm not sure if Rina has any intentions to challenge the Cosmic Angels for the artist belt, since Sayuri Anu is 1/3 of the champions. So that's something we will see down the line. But however, this match, of course, leads to 2 points for Hate. Now, for the second round, representing Cosmic Angels, we have Aya Sakura, who remained. This time she's joined by Yuna Mizumori and Tam Nakano. As for Hate, what's her name? Azusa stayed, but she's joined by Momo Watanabe and Fukigen Death. Not sure what to expect on this one, but as the usual with their cheating by using weapons and all this and that. But however, it was Tam Nakano who picked up the win by applying a tiger suplex onto Azusa Inaba, and just like that, it was over. So they were tied in 2 points. But however, when the shift change happened, representing Cosmic Angel Sayaka Kurara, Natsupoi, and Tam Nakano. So Tam remained after the second round. And for Hate, we have Raka, Natsuko Tora, and Sai Kamitani. But however, once the shift change happened, Hate immediately made a beeline to try to cut them in their tracks. But however, they targeted Sayaka Kurara in order to ensure, because we all know she in fact is a bit of the lesser experience in this team. But however, she did not waver. But unfortunately, once again, the storyline between Kamitani and Tam continued on, because it was Kamitani once again with the Star Crusher, and she pinned her. Now, as I said before, Tam, along with Natsupo and Saru Anu, are the current artist champions. I wouldn't pass it by them to ensure that they, in fact, will challenge them for the artist belts, because Kamitani is determined to take away everything from Tam to make her pay for what happened in the 5-star Grand Prix before then. So we'll see what happens until then. But however, because of this match ended with Hate winning, they did not officially make their way to the finals. For the block in this one, for the blue block, the winners are none other than Neo Genesis. Even though they were close, but they were not. So Neo Genesis wins the entire block, and they will face EXV in the finals. So that's something we will see down the line. So that's pretty much it. What happened for this one in Stardom? Let's move on with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay. New Japan Pro Wrestling. This is the Wrestling Live 40th anniversary Yuji Nagata Blue Justice. And I think this is number 15, and this is his much recent show. Now, there are certain matches that are involved in preliminary matches involving in upcoming matches we will see down the line. Now, our first match, we have the Young Lions, Katsuya Murashima and Shimakota. They team up with Shooter himself, Shota Umino, to take on the United Empire, Jacob Austin Young, Francisco Akira, and Great Khan. Now, as you all know, recently a feud has begun between Khan and Shota Umino. Now, you probably don't remember what happened. Let me explain. Great Khan thinks, Shota Umino, you are not the future ace of New Japan. But Shota Umino will not take that kindly. So that's always been the case. Because, of course, Great Khan is saying, if anybody's going to be the ace, it's going to be me. Now, we do know that a lot of things have been changing in New Japan when it came to Okada, of course, leaving New Japan, and soon Tanahashi leaving, retiring. That is filling up the void. But however, You probably can guess the United Empire would have won easily because, of course, of the young lions. It was Francesco Cara with the fireball on Shomakato that allowed him to win. But of course, the feud between Khan and Shota Umino will continue. I'm sure we will have a one-on-one match between them because we know Shota Umino will not give up to be the ace of New Japan. Now, our next match, we have TMDK, Robbie Eagles and Kosa Fujii, our current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. They team up with Rohei Oiwa. They take on Tomoaki Hamna, Yo, and El Desperado. Now, of course, it's no secret because we know that Robbie Eagles and Kosa Fujii, they have one thing in their mind is to obtain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title that El Desperado has in his possession. You would think that would be the play. And of course, it was Oiwa who picked up the win by applying a discus lariat onto Hamna, and just like that, it was over. But we will see what happens if Fujita and Robbie Eagles have an aim for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Well, we will see down the line where that goes. Our next match, we have Tenkoji, consisting of Satoshi Kojima, Hiroyoshi Tenzan. They take on LIJs and are winners of the World Tag League, Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito. So you would think, okay, veteran wrestlers versus a team that has been dominant in the past. Well, I can tell you that it was Hiromu who picked up the win on Kojima, and just like that, it was completely over. Our next match, well, we have a mixture of two different Bullet Club parts. Taiji Shimori and Sanada taking on just four guys. Taka Michinoku and Taichi. Now, it's no secret now that Taichi has a problem with Sanada after he betrayed him, costing him the IWGP Global title. So that's always been the case where we're going to see Sanada, as you know, was a traitor, causing a lot of things that should not have happened, but it did. But unfortunately, it was Sanada who sent a direct message through Taka with the skull end, and just like that, it was over. I'm sure we will see a one-on-one match between Sanada and Taichi somewhere down the line. Now, our next match, we have the Bullet Club War Dogs, Jola Maloney, Clark Connors, and Gabe Kidd taking on LIJ Bushi's Shingo Takagi and Yota Tsuji. Now, it's no secret now, ever since Gabe Kidd lost to Kenny Omega, putting himself in a position like, nope, he did not beat the best bout machine like he would have hoped. Now one thing he cannot stand is seeing another person who he thinks it doesn't deserve to be in the top, and I'm referring to Yota Tsuji, who is now the current IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. So he feels that Tsuji has no business being that. But Tsuji, as you know, doesn't care what he thinks, as long as he's at the top. So that's always been the play. But however, it was Drilla Maloney who picked up the win with Bushi, with the Drilla Killer, and just like that, it was over. But I'm sure we will see that title match between Kid and Tsuji for the IWGP Global Heavyweight title somewhere down the line. Our next match is a very interesting one. We have Bishamon, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto taking on TMDK's Hartley Jackson and our current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Zack Sabre Jr. Now, those who know this or not remember, Hiroki Goto won the rando match that took place back in Wrestle Kingdom that gave him an opportunity for the shot of the IWGP World Heavyweight title. So, we will see that match happen somewhere, but this is one of those preliminary matches we will take place. But however, it was, of course, Hartley Jackson who ended up on the wrong side of Shoto, and then Yoshihashi was the one who picked up the win. But however, as you know, Yoshihashi began a feud with Rohei Oiwa, so we will see somewhere a match between those two down the line. So that's going to be fun. Now, our main event features the House of Losers. I'm referring to the House of Torture, crying like little babies, ever since they stole the 2/3 of the never open weight tag team six-man tag team titles, acting like big babies. They're demanding a match for that because right now, as you know, Evil is nowhere to be found because he is out crying to mommy after losing to Tanahashi. But speaking of Tanahashi, he teams up with his teammates, Bolton Oleg and Toru Yano, And they team up with, of course, Blue Justice himself, Yuji Nagata. Now, when it comes to the House of Losers, you know they would cut corners, removing the safety pads from the corners, whiskeys, monkey wrenches. That's always been their trademarks, but unfortunately, it was young Bolton Oleg who picked up the win by applying the kamikaze, and just like that, he picked up the win. But of course, like the big cowards that Sho and Yujiro are, they took the two-thirds of the titles of the never openweight six-man tag titles. Well, as I said, they're big crybabies. They're demanding those belts. I'm sure Tanahashi will get those back one way or another, but we just have to wait and see when. So I think that's pretty much it with New Japan. Let's move on with our last and final review, TNA Genesis. Well, as you all know, 2025 just started great. But however, when it comes to wrestling, you don't know what to expect. As you know, TNA has their first pay per view event starting 2025 with Genesis. Now, many of you know recently TNA and WWE signed a multi year partnership. Now, we don't know who will be making appearance, but the word got out NXT talent will be making their presence known on Genesis. So, we did see Ariana Grace, as you know, who serves like an ambassador of sorts, and she introduces Ashanta Dean Adonis, but this idiot disrespected her by saying, "You look good, but for today." But however, he put out an open challenge. But who did actually accept it? Well, the biggest and baddest that we know in TNA, Jake something. That's exactly what happened. Now, of course, Shauna Diaz put up a fight, but he ended up on the wrong side of the Into the Void, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Moose comes out, decided to make, as you know, Moose becoming the X Division champion. He has now been declaring that the X Division title is the most prestige title, more than the TNA World title. But he unveiled a brand new one, so I don't know how you guys would feel about it. But as soon as it was unveiled, JDC decided to join the commentary group because this next match is important because it involves Frankie Kazarian versus Leon Slater. Now, as you know, Leon Slater recently has been, let's just not target it, but more like people want him to join, to become like their guinea pig or something. But Leon Slater, he is not playing that type of game. He had this match exactly where he wanted, but I don't know if his JDC's involvement to get well, I don't know if you call it involvement, him trying to get up because he does not want to see Leon Slater beat Frankie Kazarian. But Leon Slater applied a Swanton 450, but it was, of course, Frankie Kazarian, winning by a pinfall, just like that. So we'll see what happens. Now, let's jump into the main card because what we just discussed right now, earlier, at the start of this review, it was just a countdown. But now let's jump into the main card. We have the X Division title. Ace Austin, a three-time X Division champion, taking on Moose. I have to say, what a great opener. Not because I say so. You look at this kind of like the never openweight title, where you look at a junior heavyweight versus a heavyweight. And I have to say, that fits exactly the parameters of what I think of it. And that's what I love about this match. I mean, Ace Austin, oh my God, he applied a suplex for a guy like Moose. But of course, when it comes to Moose, he has the system by his side. That idiot JDC. Then, of course, Moose speared JDC by accident. Well, JDC deserved it because he's an idiot. And then, of course, Myers and Edwards showed up. But because of that, Moose finally was able to speared Ace with not once but twice. But however, of course, the system wanted to send a message to him not to mess with Moose again. But luckily, Steve Macklin and Eric Young showed up. And that's what led to this tag team match between Myers and Edwards to take on Young and Macklin. Young and Macklin have, in my opinion, they have become a good, solid team. I They develop like, okay, Eric Young recognizes Steve Macklin. This is his time now, and that's exactly what he did when he applied the KIA onto Myers, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match is the TNA World Knockouts World Tag Team Titles. Of course, Heather and Ash by Elegance, along with the Chihuahua, were in fact in this match, taking on Spitfire. Now, of course, they claim they will walk out as the tag champions. I mean, we did see a moment of Danny Luna may have injured herself, but we don't know if it's severe or that. But she was able to continue on. But there was a moment where Heather was taken out, and then Ash by Elegance ended up on the wrong side of the pressure drop, but it was Jody Threat who picked up the win, allowing them to retain the tag belts. So that's how it rolled up. Now, as you know, Frank Kazarian is the Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner. As you know, is determined to become the TNA World Champion. So it's no surprise that he will be keeping his eye out on the main event. So that's something we will keep close watch on. So we'll get back to that. Now, our next match, we have Tessa Blanchard versus Jordan Grace. Now, as you know, Tessa Blanchard made her return, claiming that she is here to reclaim the Knockouts division. But however, as you know, we all know that Tessa Blanchard has burned many bridges in the past when it came to who she is. As you know, Jordan Grace had redefined the Knockouts division during her time. And of course, it's like Jordan Grace would say, if you want this division, you have to take it off my dead cold hands. And that's exactly what was going on. But Tessa was determined by any means necessary to reclaim what she feels is rightfully hers. I mean, she did remove the safety from the turnbuckles, both the low and mid, and that helped her out to win until she applied the Magnum. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, the Knockouts division now is in the hands of Tessa. But we did hear that this could be the final match involving Jordan Grace and TNA. As you probably know, there's been talks recently about Jordan Grace making the jump to WWE. So we will see what happens down the road from there. Now, our next match is an I Quit match. We have Josh Alexander versus Mike Santana. How did we got here in this particular match? Easy. As you know, we all know Josh Alexander has been the standard of TNA, but now Mike Santana decided to step up saying that he will become the standard of TNA, but Josh Alexander, as you know, will not let that happen. But oh my god, this match was brutal, but there was a big moment that, of course, you know Josh Alexander would do whatever it takes to force jo- Mike Santana to quit, but there was a moment where he's like, "I won't quit, bro." He had that sinister laugh, like no matter what Josh Alexander tried to do, it wasn't gonna help until Josh Alexander himself decided he was gonna quit. He announced it himself and just walked away. So we did hear that his time with TNA is coming up to an end, and I know many people have been talking where's he gonna go next. Some people say with WWE, we're not sure yet, but we'll find out down the road. Our next match, you can call it a dream match all you want. This is for the TNA World Tag Team titles. The Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, taking on the goats of the tag team world, uh, the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. You know this match was going to be interesting, but however, apparently the current NXT Tag Team Champions, Frazier, Nathan Frazier and Axel were there, and they had a front row seat watching. But you know this was going to be a spectacular match, no matter what. But as always, the Goats walked away with the win, applying a swanton bomb onto Trey Miguel. But Jeff was the one who picked up the win for his team, allowing them to retain the belts. Now, our next match, this is the TNA Knockouts World Title in a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. A type of match that was created by none other than Raven. Rosemary, as you know, is determined to claim the Knockouts World title, but she has to go through Masha Slamovich. Now, you know there's going to be a lot of plunder in this type of match. I mean, you can use anything, tables, chairs, whatever thing that will make you bleed. And of course, there was the mist involved. We did see that. But what's interesting, it was an avalanche package pile driver by Masha that allowed her to pick up the win, and just like that, it was over. She retained the belt. But however, in the post match, we had a surprise visit from the NXT Mean Girl, Cora Jade, showing up. Now, it probably doesn't take a genius. We know what she's aiming for. It's the TNA Knockouts World title. So we probably will see that somewhere down the line. So we'll stay tuned to that. Now let's jump into our main event. This is for the TNA World title. We have Joe Hendry, who is determined to become world champion, takes it on Nick Bennett, who has spent his entire life trying to get to the top. So you would think this match was going to be good. But however, we did see that Frankie Kazarian was attempting to cash in. But this is what really got interesting. JBL showed up, gave him a clothesline and a hell, and just like that, knocked out. Ryan Mendes tried to confront him, but he took a punch and got knocked out. But man, Nick Menef even tried the danger zone to put away Joe Hendry. He did not give up, and that is determined that we believe in Joe Hendry until he applied the standing ovation, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, say his name, and he appears. He is now the world champion. Yup. Joe Hendry is our brand new TNA World Champion. Great moment. I loved it. But I do know one thing. He will have to make the world believe he is worthy, but we do know one person who thinks he should have been World Champion, that little crybaby, Kazarian. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. I'm sure we're all going to be happy, having a parade and all that stuff. So until then, we'll just have to wait till Thursday. But right now, let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. As I said before, this is going to be a short one. Now, for upcoming events, we only have one, but two things involving that. As you know, Deadlock Pro Wrestling has announced a brand new a show called Title Fight in Texas, in Pasadena, Texas, that will take place on the 26th of January. Now, two title matches have been announced. The first one, the World Tag Team titles will be defended. Violence Forever will defend their belts against the Intergalactic Jet Setters. That's right, Kevin Knight and Kushida. And then, of course, we have the World Championship. Miyuki Takase defends her belt against Dani Luna. We do know Dani Luna, along with Subculture, have been determined to get some visas. So we will see what happens until then. Now, that's pretty much it, what we have for upcoming events. Now, our development here. Many of you know PCO was involved in GCW, but this is where things got interesting. Many of you know this or not. PCO is the TNA Digital Media Champion. However, during a GCW event, he grabbed the sledgehammer and destroyed the belt right in front of everybody. Now, the indications are saying that he is done with TNA. Now, people are talking about maybe he was in it for himself. I don't know. We don't know if the play of him because of WWE getting a partnership had anything to do with it. There's a lot of questions we don't know. Does this mean he was done? That's something we have to wait and see. I'm sure we're all want to get answers involving that. Does this mean he's done with TNA altogether? I don't know. But we'll just wait and see until the actual information comes out. So we'll put a pin on this one and we'll proceed forward. But until then, let's just call it a day. Okay, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Now, For our upcoming one, I haven't decided yet. I know there's a much recent Mighty Gold show. I missed out on All Japan and a few others, mostly from Japan, I've been following. So I haven't decided. So most likely we either will have a Yoshi wrestling stuff or just the Japanese wrestling in general. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll leave things as it is. And just like that, we'll end it. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.